Welcome to Ark Survival Ascended Bootcamp, where we will be going over all the how-tos, where-tos, and what you will need to-dos. Now that we've established our first initial flyer tames, it's time to farm up all the mats that we're going to need to create our initial first base. With our indie forges, our regular forges starting off until we have enough metal for indie, getting our first auto turrets up, and having a location where we can farm and build up our mats to create our kits and our operation areas. So we're going to be going over all of the basic materials needed to create everything that you see in front of you. Alright, going over each and every resource. Here we go! Starting with fiber, we want what are called reeds. Now, reeds are over in the swamp area right on the river. Now, this is one of my favorite spots. On the river here, located, if my map would load, at around, 49.29, roughly. Or 41.29, sorry. Now, you're going to want to use a sickle. If you don't have any tames, you just run through the reeds, farming up all the fiber. Now, there's a couple different good tames for fiber. See if I got one on me. I do. Now, Megatherium is pretty good for fiber. One of my favorites, because you're going to need a Megatherium to run the Swamp Cave anyways, to get level 100. There's a couple different ways to get level 100, but the Swamp Cave with a 4x and 2x note is one of the best. The right click does an AoE little farm, gets you a lot of berries and fiber. But another way is just left clicking. You can move while left clicking. You can run while left clicking. And then you just do that, running down the river edge, farming up all that fiber. Now another great tame is the Fairy. Bear with me here. Now the Fairy, you have to level it in Delicate. You level it in Delicate, and you'll get a lot of fiber. You got some more levels here. There we go. Now you just run around right clicking, and you'll auto harvest all these bushes and get so much fiber. Fairies are also great cave tames, powerhouses, and we're going to be using a fairy for one of the best wood farming methods as well later in this episode. Alright, so that covers fiber. You've got a sickle, Megatherium, and or Fairy. On to the next one. Alright, we're going to talk about thatch, crystal, obsidian, metal, flint. Everything that a pickaxe is good at farming, an Anki is better at farming, and an RG can pick an Anki and has way more weight and can fly. So, you're going to use this combination pretty much for all of those resources. More or less are going to be an absolutely great choice. Now, everybody knows to use an Anki with an RG for metal. If you don't, now you do. But an Anki will auto-farm metal up to half its weight. But you're going to have a teammate on the Anki just constantly farming because your RG is going to be able to carry that Anki while the Anki decreases all the metal's weight by 50%. That's why you want to use an Anki and RG for metal, because it reduces the weight of metal. It's very heavy. Now for flint, flint's already pretty light, but it's also going to harvest all that flint for you. A little bit of stone, but mostly flint. What I like to do is pretty much drop the stone and then just go on a really, really big metal and flint run. All of your metal runs will give you a decent amount of flint. Get those resources popped in. Now when it comes to crystal and obsidian alike, the Anki is best at farming them. See if I can get this metal node out of the way, get some crystal in my inventory. Alright, got some crystal. Now, crystal, let's get a little bit more. Now the RG is such a great weight tame because it actually reduces the weight of a lot of different resources. Crystal being one of them. Crystal is extremely heavy. Obsidian as well, extremely heavy. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, it's 100 weight in the Anki, 100 weight on me. But when I put in the RG, it's reduced by 50%. So if you're going out and you're farming crystal with your Anki and RG, just take the crystal out of the Anki, put it in the RG. And the same thing goes for obsidian. Let me see if I can find some obsidian real quick. There's lots of mountains on the island with both metal, obsidian, and crystal. So pick a mountain, any mountain. There we go. Got some obsidian. Let's get a full stack. Okay, there we go. So the obsidian in the... Oh, can't put it in there. In the Anki is 100. My inventory is 100, so it's going to be the exact same as the crystal, right? Obsidian in the RG is only 50. Bada bing, bada boom. So you go out farming crystal or obsidian, move those to the RG, you'll be able to carry a lot more. Keep the metal in the Anki. Flint doesn't really matter, it's lead anyways. And thatch, you can actually farm quite a bit of thatch with the Anki as well. It doesn't, you don't need any weight reduction. It doesn't give any. But yeah, it can farm thatch pretty well. Give you a bit of wood while you're at it. And that covers all of those resources. I'm going to shout out to this bad boy. Something I'll never probably tame in my life. But it is the Thatch King. Alright, you run around, farm all these trees. One swing, one harvest. Doesn't matter. And it'll collect all the thatch. But don't get it twisted. The female version is not able to farm any thatch whatsoever. Literally has no attack. Okay. And that's it. That's thatch. On to the next one. Let's talk about wood farming. When you're starting off without a single dino and you've got a metal hatchet, it's going to be the first tool you obtain. That's how you're going to get your wood. If you still don't have a dino and you want to get even more wood, grab yourself a chainsaw with some gasoline. But you want to start taming dinos, you really want to dial in on your wood harvesting. You can do an RG, which is something you'll probably have right at the beginning, with a ton of weight. If it would fly. And you're going to have a teammate ride the beaver, the Castoroides. And as you fly through the trees, your teammate is going to eat them. Now, the Castoroides has 50% decreased weight on that wood. So it's going to be an absolutely great way to farm wood around your base. Trees are plenty on the island, so pick a spot, any spot. Farm up your wood with the Castoroides and RG, and you'll be living life grand. Now, you want to get a little bit more specialized. You can use a mammoth. Now, it has a Castoroides does 50% weight reduction. A mammoth actually does 85. So a stack of wood in your inventory. Let's get a stack. Now, I am not a big fan of the mammoth, but it's worth mentioning. Alright, a stack of wood in my inventory is 50 pounds. A stack of wood in the beaver's inventory is 25. And a stack of wood in the mammoths is 12.5. So, if you did want to tame yourself a mammoth, run around, collect wood, you know, it's up to you. More power to you. One thing to note is that you can pick a mammoth with a quetzal. So if you have a weight quetzal and a mammoth, that's probably that is the upgraded version of the RG and Castoroides. Now, I'm gonna talk to you guys about how to slot cap yourself with wood. And then we're gonna go over in a different video how to move with slot caps. But I will meet you over at the wood slot cap harvesting farming area. Alright, welcome to the slot cap wood harvest farming area. So, one thing you're going to need, a Theory Xeno. Reason being, Theories are the best at farming wood, given you've gotten them a little bit of experience, and you level them up in power harvesting. You could use a mammoth if you wish, if that's all you've got. They've got a pretty good hitbox. Just throw them on the raft. Or a beaver, if that's all you got as well. Also good at harvesting wood. But the Theory is going to be the best at harvesting wood. The reason why you don't use a Theory with any of the other options, like, you know, driving it around in a quetzal or just on the ground, is because they have 0 wood reduction. Okay? Okay, so all the wood that they harvest is going to be fully weighted. But what a raft does is it doesn't care about weight. Doesn't matter how much weight you put on a raft, it'll still move. Alright, so you're just going to have one of your teammates on the ferry destroying all the wood, and you're going to hit all of the trees that are sitting in the water. And you can do this anywhere in the swamp on the island. The island is full of swamps with water all over the place, so plenty of space to do this. Once you slot cap yourself with the wood, in a later video, I will be showing you how to move unlimited amounts of weight. So stay tuned. But we're going to move on to the next resource. Let's talk about stone farming. This is going to take 2 seconds. Take your hatchet, hit a rock, get stone. Hit metal, get stone. You might get a little metal. Hit crystal, get stone. Maybe a little bit of crystal. But the Doedicurus and an RG is the ultimate combination. Any stone gives you stone. No flint. Any metal node gives you stone. No flint. Any crystal. Harvest it. Any crystal gives you stone. No flint. Insane. All stone. And it also reduces the weight of stone by a shite ton. 75%. 12.5 in its inventory. 50 in mine. Huge, huge. So, also obsidian. It's just stone. Alright? You wanna farm stone? And you're gonna need a ton of it. Trust me. Doedicurus and an RG. The resource called hide. You can get it from things that exist. Dinosaurs. Killing them and harvesting them. Things you can use. I like to use a battle RG. In the beginning, a PT's pretty decent. A hatchet, if you have to use a tool to collect hide. Ovis, if you are able to farm and raise Ovis, the more HP they have, the better. And a better tool than the hatchet is a chainsaw. It's an upgraded version of the hatchet, so it's better for wood, better for hide. Get a ton of hide off of the Ovis. Titanosaurs are amazing for hide. How do you kill a Titanosaur? You can use a Thylacoleo. Can pretty much do the job with some bleed damage. Just be careful not to get hit. Titanosaurs have a crazy amount of health and can deal a crazy amount of damage. A Giga running around can also collect a lot of hide. Obviously, that's like an end game tame. There we go. Got a lot of experience for harvesting that. Alright. Hide. You can also collect a lot of hide from the swamp area, from the various ice caves where a Giga can fit. A Spino is good, a Rex is good. Big carnivores are great at collecting hide. Alright, on to the next resource. Alright, let's talk about chitin. Chitin, you can run around harvesting and farming from bugs, titanomadromes. Trilobites are great. But we're talking about harvesting slot caps of chitin in here. This is the insect cave in the redwoods, located about 63, 38 or so. You're going to want to use a Megatherium because Megatherium is the insect killing machine. I've already half farmed this area, and it's important to note that in order to survive this area, since it's poisoned, you're going to need 2 pieces of Gilly and 3 pieces of Scuba. So you can change them how you wish. The only other type of Scuba is the boot. So, and Scuba flippers make you slow on land, so I chose to go for the Gilly gauntlets and boots, and the Scuba leg, tank, and goggles, which means I will take no damage as long as I have those 5 pieces of equipment equipped. So you're going to run through here, collecting all of the chitin. I've already harvested pretty much this entire cave. So Just imagine there's a ton of Meganeura. Uh, I want to say not arachnids, but the spiders, the snails, leeches, titanodromes. Just all of the chitin things you could possibly ask for. Alright, you're gonna run. You're gonna harvest them all. Get all the chitin. Two more notes about this cave is the drops. So there's a couple. There's a drop there. There's one more in the room above. And the foundations that you're gonna need. Now, placing a foundation right there and the way that it's placed is very important. So when you come in, there's gonna be a ton of mobs all over this room. So you place your foundation like this, and then you flip it around so that way it's pointing towards you, and then place it right where this is placed. Okay, right here. Alright. And also, you're going to need one right here. Now, it is possible without the foundation to get through. Don't let that discourage you. But what I've noticed is that it'll slow you down. You don't want to get slowed down. You want to go fast. So, run through here. Now, this is where I haven't harvested or fought anything. There's a couple more drops. And you're just going to collect all the chitin. This is all the chitin that you're going to need for cementing paste. Cementing paste is very important for all the metal structures that you're going to need. Turrets. CP is just a huge bottleneck for a lot of different tribes. Leech blood is also amazing for antidotes, among other things. I've got to go back and stay left. But when you're going through this cave, go slow. Attack something, aggro stuff, and then sit there and kill it. Make sure you have the insect buff up the whole time. Collect the drops. And that's all there is to it. That is your chitin tutorial. We're going to move on to the next resource. Alright, just like metal is oil, basically. You need a pickaxe if you just want to farm it without a tame. If you want to use an Anki with an RG, that's the best way of going about it. So, somebody's on the Anki, somebody's on the RG. Flying, hitting. And where to get oil is all over the snow biome. There's all these black rocks. And some of them are very big in height, kind of bulbous looking. All of those are oil nodes. And some of them, give me a second. Before I lose my tail. Some of them are just kind of normal looking rocks, but it's all oil. Another way to get oil is Basilosaurus, killing basilos, killing squids in the ocean can give you oil. But that's about it. That literally basically just covers oil. On to the next one! Let's talk about silica pearls. Everything you're going to need for electronics. And different platform saddles, Spino saddles, stuff of that nature. My favorite spot is right here, because you don't even need a scuba tank, if we're being honest. The water is nice and shallow. You can use a scuba tank if you want, keep one on you just to make sure you don't die while you're getting your pearls. But it's located right here. Roughly 31, actually. And now you can pick by hand. Picking by hand is perfectly okay, especially in the beginning when you're not going to have a tame or going out taming an anglerfish is just too much of a hassle. But once you're all established, get yourself an anglerfish. These things are insane for pearl farming. Yoink! That's like 10 times as much as I would have gotten just by hand, if not more. 130, about 8 times. 16. You're going to want to do your melee damage. And you just, there's a bunch of pearls in this lake. It's absolutely fantastic. Very simple, very easy to obtain. If you need air, they're right above you. Or the air's right above you. Boom, get yourself some air. Need to get stam, get yourself some stam. But the anglerfish itself gives you stam. Now there's a lot of piranha in this water. So my advice is if you are coming in to get these pearls, just keep moving. The anglerfish is actually faster than the piranha, so you should be able to farm all this up without getting hit too much. And the water's barely shallow enough for you, which is perfect. All the way to this waterfall. Alright, that's silica pearls. On to the next one. Let's talk about polymer harvesting. So when it comes to poly, you can use organic or hard. The hard poly is created with obsidian and cementing paste. But since cementing paste is a resource that is needed for so many other things, crafting polymer is something you really don't want to do. But harvesting poly is absolutely fantastic. You come over to the ice biome. There's going to be lots of penguins on these glaciers. There's Hesperornis as well that'll give you poly in the woods, in the rivers. But if you don't have a tame, use a club. Club will give you a good amount of poly. But what you really want to be doing is getting yourself a moss chops, getting it lots of levels because it actually has organic polymer harvest multiplier in its leveling. What you do is you run over. You can tap C, you can tap right click. What I like to do when the server's a little bit laggy is you can actually tap C and on the second headbutt right click. Now I'm in single player, so I'm not going to be able to do that double harvest. But basically tapping C and then right clicking. Now it's only going to harvest once because I'm not on an official server. But that's it. That's how you're going to get all of your polymer. Alright, that goes over every single basic resource that we're going to be needing to build our starting base. There are other resources more advanced that we're going to need later on when we get more advanced into our engrams and levels, doing boss fights, yada yada. But in the next video, we're going to be going over what we're building, why we're building it, how we're doing it for future upgrades. So stay tuned, and that's the end of this one.